We finished our makeup, we look in the mirror for a final check, and there it is. The annoying problem that many of us deal with as we get older. Rather than looking smooth and flawless, our makeup has managed to settle into a number of fine lines and wrinkles, which makes those wrinkles look all the more noticeable. But thankfully, there are some tips and techniques that can come to our rescue, and I'll share those tips and techniques with you today. If you're stopping in today for the very first time, welcome. My name is Elise, and my passion as a makeup artist is helping those of us over 50 look like the very best version of ourselves. So tune in every Thursday for makeup tips and techniques for mature skin, as well as for occasional forays into the worlds of fashion and health and wellness. Today, I'll share a full menu of tips from which you can choose. Perhaps just one of these tips will help you prevent makeup from settling into your fine lines and wrinkles, or perhaps you'll need to incorporate several more of these tips into your makeup routine to do the trick. Since we're all different, we need to experiment to determine which of these tips will help us the most. Tip number 1 is to regularly exfoliate our skin, unless we have rosacea. Exfoliating our skin removes dead skin cells, which creates a more even surface for makeup application. Exfoliating also helps prevent foundation and concealer from clinging to dry, flaky areas, which can accentuate fine lines. And if we regularly exfoliate our skin, and by regularly I mean once or twice a week, there's another very important benefit. Removing those dead skin cells means that we'll have brighter looking skin, which is a huge plus for those of us with mature skin. One of my very favorite exfoliating products is Tatcha's The Rice Polish, which comes in 4 different formulas for different skin types: gentle, calming, deep, and classic. As always, I'll include a link to this product as well as links for all the other products that I'll mention today in the description box below and also in the YouTube shopping area. Tip number 2 is to start with a clean, moisturized face. If our skin isn't well hydrated, no amount of face primer or expensive foundations will prevent our makeup from settling into fine lines. If our skin is dry, our foundation is more likely to cling to any dry patches and settle into wrinkles. Also, hydrating the skin plumps up the skin, which helps to keep makeup from settling into fine lines. You may also want to make sure that your moisturizer contains hyaluronic acid. This is because this ingredient acts like a sponge, pulling moisture from the environment, which keeps our skin supple and hydrated. Making sure the skin is well hydrated not only prevents the production of excessive oils that push makeup into wrinkled skin, but it also helps prevent our skin from absorbing the makeup products that we've already used. Be sure to let the moisturizer fully absorb into the skin before applying makeup, which usually takes 10 to 15 minutes. If we apply our makeup when the moisturizer hasn't fully absorbed into our skin, the makeup will absorb into our moisturizer, which can also accentuate fine lines and wrinkles. Well, I know applying an extra layer of anything on our faces before applying makeup doesn't appeal to many of us, but my 3rd tip is to use a face primer. In fact, face primer may become your very best friend if you have issues with makeup settling into fine lines and wrinkles. Primer can play a crucial role by creating a silky canvas that helps makeup glide over fine lines rather than sink into them. Look for pore blurring or line filling formulas for mature skin. Face primer also creates a barrier between our skin and our makeup and smooths out any uneven texture. Without it, our makeup has nowhere to go but into those fine lines, which creates a less than ideal finish for sure. Here are some really good high-end and drugstore face primer options: Tatcha the Silk Canvas Primer, Hourglass Veil Mineral Primer, Benefit Professional Face Primer, Smashbox Photo Finish Smooth and Blur Primer, L'Oreal Paris Age Perfect Blurring Face Primer, and Revlon Photo Ready Prime Plus Perfecting Plus Smoothing Primer. Tip number 4 is to choose the proper foundation formula. Foundations that are too heavy or matte can accentuate lines and wrinkles. Powder foundation can make our skin look drier and exaggerate texture. Instead, opt for a lightweight moisturizing foundation with a satin or dewy finish that has buildable coverage. Liquid foundations with light reflecting pigments can soften the appearance of lines and are a great choice. These types of foundations allow for natural movement of the skin without settling into creases. So try to avoid thick, full coverage formulas unless you thin them out with a moisturizer, damp sponge, or a product like One Size's B12 base thinner. The next tip, number 5, is super important. It's how much foundation to use and how best to apply our foundation. As far as how much foundation to apply, less is definitely more. Apply a very small amount in thin layers rather than one thick application. Thin layers allows makeup to look more natural and adhere better to the skin. If you need or want more coverage, use a concealer rather than more foundation and use it only where needed. One of my favorites is Natasha Denona's High Glam Concealer. Now, let's focus on the best way to apply our foundation. The way we apply our makeup can significantly impact how it interacts with our skin's natural creases. Some of us feel more comfortable using our fingers, others of us like using a brush, and many of us like applying foundation with a damp sponge. No matter which of these techniques we use, we want to first press the foundation into the skin with our sponge, our fingers, or a brush, rather than swiping it on. Use gentle patting motions and pay extra attention to areas prone to creasing. That's because the pressing motion allows the foundation to adhere more effectively to the skin. If you like to apply your foundation with your fingers or a brush, it's crucial to take this next additional step after you've patted on your foundation to prevent the foundation from settling into fine lines and wrinkles. Take a slightly damp sponge and tap it over the entire face, especially where the foundation is most likely to crease. This will pick up any excess product that can settle into fine lines. It also helps to blend the product in seamlessly and creates a soft focus effect that minimizes the appearance of lines. And the additional moisture is also a great boon for dry skin. Another application technique that prevents foundation from settling into fine lines and wrinkles is to apply our foundation with a damp makeup sponge. Put a small amount of foundation on the back of your hand and spread it out just a little bit. Then dip the dampened sponge into the makeup and tap off excess product on the back of the hand before tapping it onto your face. This application technique creates the most airbrushed finish and allows us to build our coverage without creating a cakey look. And let's also touch on combating lines and wrinkles under the eyes. The under eye area is where most of us struggle with concealer creasing and where fine lines usually appear first. And since there aren't oil glands under the eyes, the area under our eyes can easily look drier. The wrong concealer or too much concealer can really emphasize those fine lines, as we all know. So for under the eyes, opt for a lightweight hydrating concealer rather than a thick full coverage concealer. Apply the concealer sparingly and make sure to wipe any excess product off the applicator before applying it. Blending with your fingertips allows the concealer to melt into our skin seamlessly, or use a slightly damp sponge to press it in. Some really great under-eye concealers for mature skin are the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer and Armani Beauty's Luminous Silk Concealer. Another highly rated option is the Hydrating Tower 28 Swipe Serum Concealer. Tip number 6 involves foundation setting techniques. Setting techniques can make or break our final makeup look because they lock our makeup into place, which helps prevent our makeup products from migrating or shifting into fine lines and wrinkles. We can set our makeup with either a powder or a spray or both. Powder can end up being our best friend or our worst enemy, depending on which powder we use and where and how we apply it. We want to use a finely milled translucent powder that's hydrating or luminous, and to apply it only where we absolutely need it, rather than all over our face. For many of us, we'll want to apply powder only to our T-zone unless we have very oily skin. Tap a little powder onto the back of your hand or into the cap of the powder, pick up a small amount with a puff or a brush, tap off the excess, and tap on just a very small layer. And here are some recommendations for some really first-class setting powders for mature skin. Hourglass Veil Translucent Powder, Laura Mercier Translucent Loose Ultra Blur Powder, Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Brightening Powder, Wet n Wild Photo Focus Setting Powder, and Maybelline Fit Me Setting Powder. Some of the best setting sprays are Charlotte Tilbury's Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray, Urban Decay's All-Nighter Hyaluronic Acid Setting Spray, and Tatcha's Luminous Dewy Skin Mist. And that Tatcha product is great for creating some beautiful extra glow for our skin. And for tip number 7, let's talk about products for the rest of our face. For dry or combination skin, opt for cream-based or liquid products. Cream-based or liquid products such as blushes and bronzers or contours blend seamlessly with the skin and provide a more natural finish that's less likely to emphasize fine lines. Cream formulas are more forgiving and can be layered without looking cakey, so you can get a subtle flush of color that looks beautifully natural. If you have oily skin, go with liquid products which meld into the skin more easily and seamlessly than powder products, and they look more natural. If we use these tips and focus on hydration, light layers, smart product choices, and the best application techniques, our skin will look beautifully soft, natural, and alive rather than cakey, dull, and unflattering. I hope you'll share in the comments section below any products you found that help prevent your makeup from settling into fine lines and wrinkles. And if you'd like more tips and techniques related to this other challenge that those of us with mature skin often face, be sure to check out this video and subscribe to my weekly newsletter. You'll find links for both the video and my newsletter in the pinned comment section below. I look forward to being with you again next Thursday, and until then, I send you warm wishes for good health and happiness, and I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day. Take care.